Well, ladies and gentlemen, the day is finally here. It is time for the 500 subscriber Q&A special. Before I get into this Q&A, man, just want to say thank you to everyone who sent in their questions. Originally, I was going for about 10 questions, but you guys sent in more than 10. So I really appreciate it, man. Last time I did a Q&A was back when we had 100 subscribers back in March. And I'm going to most definitely do another Q&A when we hit the big milestone on the channel, 1K. And who knows, maybe when we do that, unlike the other two Q&As, we're doing, they were taped and recorded. Maybe when we get to 1K, I can do a live stream Q&A where I go live and you can put in your questions and I can answer them live and in living color. But let's not waste your time. Let's get to this Q&A. The first three questions of this Q&A come from C Nation Dog. Appreciate you putting in your questions, my man. Of course, to everyone as well. But the first question is, who is your favorite wrestler of all time? My favorite wrestler of all time, man. A lot of people say that their favorite wrestler of all time is Stone Cold or The Rock, or Hulk Hogan. But my favorite wrestler of all time is the You Can't See Me guy, John Cena. The reason why John is my favorite wrestler of all time, I grew up watching John. I didn't start watching wrestling until around 2010, 2011, 2009, and obviously around this time period, man, this is where John Cena was the number one guy, not just in WWE, but probably in all of the world of wrestling. So I would most definitely, man, go with John Cena, mainly because, growing up on him, being a huge fan of what he did in the ring, on the mic. Yes, even in the ring, because I know a lot of people like, John Cena can't wrestle. Yes, he can. He can wrestle. Go look it up. He can wrestle. But also what he did outside the ring, man, with the Make-A-Wish Foundations. And I think John's even a decent actor. Yeah, I said a decent actor. So all around, John Cena is my favorite wrestler of all time. How did you get into wrestling? Well, like I said before, man, I didn't start watching wrestling until around 2009, 2010. Mainly around when The Undertaker and Kane did their little storyline and the Nexus came along. But it happened. Wrestling happened. I don't know what show it was. I think it was either Raw and SmackDown. It's probably Raw, but it happened to be on the TV, and for some reason my eyes caught, and my eyes were instantly hooked. And since that day forward, I started watching wrestling. But it wasn't until 2011 to where I consistently started watching wrestling, to where I was watching every single episode of Monday Night Raw, every single episode of Friday Night SmackDown, etc., all the pay-per-views. And yeah, that's pretty much when I got into wrestling. And the third and final question from C Nation Dog is, who is better, Hulk Hogan or The Rock? Now, all these are great questions, but I find this one to be really good because, Hulk Hogan is a bona fide legend in the wrestling business. The Rock is as well a bona fide legend in the wrestling business. But to who's better? Is it Hulk Hogan or is it The Rock? Well, I'm not gonna come out in terms of like all time, because I know a lot of people gonna be like, "Oh, you should probably pick The Rock," because not just because of his wrestling terms, but he's an actor, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. But in terms of wrestling, who's better? I'm gonna go with Hulk Hogan. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Hogan now. I know recently he just said some crap, well, stuff that really got people talking. Also because of his comments that he said back in 2015 that got him fired by the WWE. But, you still can't take that away from what Hulk Hogan was. Hulk Hogan, I believe, was one of the, big guys and larger than life characters, man, when it comes to wrestling, and just truly drawed you in and was just truly a megastar. Even The Rock himself said it himself that he was a huge Hulkamaniac growing up. So most definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm going with Hulk Hogan. And again, that's no disrespect to The Rock, because The Rock, like I said, bona fide legend. I can give you 100 reasons why The Rock is one of the all-time greats. But in terms of this, I'll pick Hogan. All right, the next sort of questions, we got three from JTE. Number one is, what is the worst wrestling segment you ever seen? Number two, do you watch any/many wrestling YouTubers? If so, your favorites. And number three, what is Roman Reigns' legacy? The first one, out of all the segments that I have seen, man, oh man, what was worse? This is a good question as well. I never liked the whole unanimous Raw GM. I didn't really like that segment when they revealed when it was Hornswoggle. Like I just didn't like that segment. Or um, I never liked the Alexa Bliss. I'd probably go with the Bailey "This Is Your Life" Alexa Bliss thing when Alexa Bliss did the whole Bailey "This Is Your Life," which was a parody of The Rock, which was 10 times better. Speaking of that Rock "This Is Your Life" was the highest rating Raw segment and the highest rating Raw of all time to this day. Just lets you know how mainstream Raw and wrestling was back in the day. But back to the point here. The Alexa Bliss Bailey segment, that segment was just bad, cringe. I just remember watching that and thinking, what in God's name am I watching? Like, is this even wrestling? Like, this feels like one of them just cheap, off-branded, one-season canceled TV shows on the Disney Channel or Nickelodeon channel. It was bad. Like, if you haven't seen it, don't seen it. But if you do, well, then be my guest, but I highly recommend you don't check it out if you haven't watched it already. Number two, I do watch a lot of wrestling YouTubers. Well, not many that I should, but if I can name you off the bunch of my head, Wrestling Bios, The Elitist, of course, Wrestling Gifts, Wrestling's Premiere, The Botch Guy, those are some of the main ones that I watch in the YWC. Oh, and also the MTMR review. So, and those guys I would also consider my favorites. Speaking of that, if you want to check out a video I made on the good and bad wrestling YouTubers, it's also on the channel. I would highly recommend you go check that out. I think you would enjoy it. Number three, what is Roman Reigns' legacy? Roman Reigns' legacy. I think when Roman Reigns retires, he's going to be, without a shadow of a doubt, second, or I would even go and say first ballot Hall of Famer. I think Roman Reigns is leaving behind an incredible legacy that would low-key be hard to follow up. It's not on the same legacy as his cousin The Rock or Hogan, but I think Reigns is leaving behind a great legacy behind. And I really think that right now we are in the prime of Roman Reigns' career right now. Like, I've been a Reigns fan since he came in the Shield, but this, I think, is the best Reigns we've seen ever. Like, by far, the best. So, yeah. Okay, so these last 6 questions, again, thank you guys. Well, 7. Thank you guys for sending your questions again. Favorite faction in AEW, favorite movie of all time. Who do you think will give CM Punk's first loss in AEW? Give some early match card predictions for Revolution. Will Dawson be All Elite? And favorite Marvel movie. My favorite faction in AEW is the Inner Circle. Since the moment they arrived, I was like, oh my goodness, these guys are the best here in AEW. They're the best faction. Yes, they're like the best. As one of I think it was Ortiz who kept saying every week, we're the best, But yeah, man, like when they came on, man, it got me hooked. Santana and Ortiz, it got me hooked. Sammy, Chris, Legend, Jake, I don't care, but it's my favorite faction AEW. Like they're great. Inner Circle is great. Now I will admit they have gotten a little bit stale. I will admit that, but when it first like started, the Dynamite era, like they were just like amazing. Favorite movie of all time. This bounces from year to year. I might say, oh, this is my favorite movie, and then next I'll say, this movie's my favorite. But if I had to pick one, it would be Rocky. I always enjoy Rocky every time it comes on the TV. I drop everything and I'm pressing it and I'm watching it throughout the whole film. And by Rocky, I mean the first one. That's my favorite Rocky movie. Just a great plot, great story. And Sylvester Stallone, man, I just think he is highly underrated, and I just don't understand why he doesn't get a lot of credit in the acting business. I don't understand. I don't understand it. All right, number 3. Who do I think will give Punk's first loss? Well, I mean, I'm recording this on a Thursday, so it looked like it was about to be Wardlow, but we saw how that ended. But no, all jokes aside, man, I'm going to go with MJF. I think that's an obvious one. You do MJF and Punk, and MJF gets that win. Punk losing against MJF, it won't hurt Punk one bit. So I would definitely give it to MJF. If you want to build MJF as a big star, he's one of the 4 pillars. You give that to him against Punk. And then MJF can be like, haha, I beat Chris Jericho and I beat CM Punk. I'm the big deal. I deserve a shot at the AEW World title and all that good stuff. So some early match card for Revolution. CM Punk and MJF, I think that's the one they can do. Even though they have to drag it out more by February. I believe it's in February or March. I don't know. But that's probably going to happen at Revolution. I don't think they're going to give that match away on free AEW TV like a Dynamite episode. I can see Red Dragon and the Young Bucks going at it. It seems like they're setting the tide for that. Adam Cole. Originally, I was going to say Adam Cole challenges Hangman, but judging by what happened on AEW, it might be Lance doing the one that's going to challenge Hangman for the title at Revolution. We also have the AEW ladder match, so you could probably put Adam Cole in that one. Unless you can have him interfere in that Young Bucks and Red Dragon match. Make him be Paul Heyman. Choose a side, Adam. Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho, I can see that match happening. Britt and Thunder Rosa, that was actually the match. Like the first match I knew for sure was going to happen at Revolution. I think that's the perfect time that you need to take title off Britt before it even gets Evendale. Yeah, I think Thunder Rosa and Britt for the title at Revolution. As far as the TNT title, I don't know exactly on who exactly is going to do that. I think, I don't know how long Rey Fenix is going to be out, but maybe you do Malachi Black and Brody Key taking on Penta and maybe Pac. Or, well, then again, Pac will probably be coming after Andrade. I really don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. But those are some early match cards for Revolution. I don't think Revolution is going to have a lot of matches. So, yeah. Will Dawson be all elite? For those who don't know who Dawson is, I ain't gonna lie, I don't really know who he is at either. The only thing I know him from, he's from, Ring of Honor, and like he's best friends with CM Punk. But he's been all over the internet exploding. So it's not just Hook, it's also this guy. But judging by how things are going, it looks like he is gonna be all elite. Heck, he probably will be in that Face of the Revolution ladder match where he'll probably be like the final entrance like they did last year when they brought in Ethan Page. Favorite Marvel movie? I'm not a big Marvel fan. I'm not them diehards. I haven't seen every Marvel movie. But out of the Marvel movies that I have seen, I would definitely go with Black Panther. Like, that plot from start to finish is just amazing. The production-wise, the everything about that movie, the cast, the ensemble, just everything about that film is just really great. And I already answered this question, but Big On asks, do I have Twitter? And for those who are wondering, yes, I do. And you're probably thinking, well, if you have Twitter, why don't you promote it? Well, you know how Twitter is, man. Twitter is such a toxic place. And when it comes to me on Twitter, I just post my videos on there, like, for other people to see, like I do on Reddit, like on the Squared Circle. Sometimes I might post one of my big videos on there. So that's really why I have Twitter. Like anything else, also for maybe wrestling news and stuff like that. But outside of that, that's pretty much what I use Twitter for. So if you do have Twitter and you somehow do want to follow me, there it is, DC Wrestling. So _wrestling, DC _wrestling. Thank you guys so much, man, for checking out this video. Sorry for it being this long. I try not to make these videos too long, but I think in this case, I think it kind of serves up as to why it's this long with all these questions. But thank you guys so much for sending in these questions. Again, thank you so much, man, for subscribing to the channel. Hope you guys, continue on this ride, because obviously the grind doesn't stop here, man. Currently we're on the road to 530, but the next big goal is to get to 600, and then 700, 800, 900, and then the big 1K. We trying to get that 1/K, so let's do it, folks, and I know we can do it. So anyways, this has been the Kid, DC Wrestling, and so, yeah.